So it looks like we're getting a new Spider-Man and Spinneret 2-pack, but is this one worth your money, and should you be excited about it overall? Be sure you stick around until the end, soulmates, because we're going to talk about what kind of 2-pack we would like to see next. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notification so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. Spider-Man and Mary Jane 2-packs. There's been a few of them over the years, and they've all been unique in their own right. One of the first ones I remember is from Toy Biz's famous couples line, and that one had the animated version of Spider-Man and Mary Jane, along with some accessories like Spider-Man's mask and a little web accessory you could put on the wall and help Spider-Man stick to it. The next 2-pack was unexpected. It was a holiday special 2-pack that came with Spider-Man dressed as Santa Claus and Mary Jane dressed as Mrs. Claus, but it was a fun little pack. It had a little sack in there and a magnet, and it was alright. It probably shouldn't be any great surprise here, but there was some reuse going on in these 2-packs. Each of those Spider-Man action figures came from somewhere else in the Spider-Man lines, and Mary Jane might have been reused from another figure too, but I can't think of who that figure might be. But needless to say, it looks like Mary Jane's head is at least reused on both of these figures. Next comes a movie 2-pack from the first Spider-Man movie that includes 2 figures that were already in the line. One is Mary Jane with a breakaway balcony, and the other one is web-swinging Spider-Man. If you already had these 2 individually, you really didn't need the 2-pack. After that, there was another movie 2-pack from the Spider-Man 2 line, but these were 12-inch figures, and they were more like dolls than action figures, really. Unsurprisingly for dolls, both characters came with soft goods. Mary Jane came in a wedding dress. It was not the most exciting 2-pack. After this, I thought there would be more Spider-Man and Mary Jane 2-packs, but the next one was a Toys R Us exclusive, and this one I like Mary Jane better than I do Spider-Man. I don't think the Spider-Man toy is all that great. Even with the nice Mary Jane, it's not enough to save the package. It's just alright, and so it goes with Spider-Man and Spinneret. The Spider-Man in this 2-pack is essentially a repaint of the Retro Wave Spider-Man, but there are some differences here, and the biggest difference is that this one has toe articulation. I'm personally not all that impressed by toe articulation because it's one of those things that Toy Biz was able to do since day one. McFarlane and his DC Multiverse has been doing it since day one. Is it all that impressive? Not really. Is it nice to have? Sure. But you know, they show off the bendable tail on the lizard, and they show off the toe articulation on Spider-Man, and they act like you're supposed to owe them your life or something. I do like this Spider-Man action figure, which surprises me because it's a lot more jacked than I like my Spider-Man to be. I prefer a skinny Spider-Man, so seeing a Spider-Man this big is a little jarring, but it does remind me of Spider-Man the Animated Series, the way that it's painted. The red is very bright, and I think it contrasts well with the blue, and so it looks really good when they have it painted like this. Another difference aside from the toe articulation is that this one has pinless joints, which is nice to have, and it looks like it has a new head sculpt. I like the mask on this one so much better than the retro Spider-Man release. It feels right to me when I see those large eyes on his mask. When Spider-Man has tiny eyes on his mask, it doesn't feel right to me because it feels like the mask has way too much negative space. So when we have those large eyes, it feels right then because the head feels balanced to me. Aside from the masked head, we also get a Peter Parker head, and it looks really good. I like this one. He's got a cheeky look on his face, and it feels like Peter Parker to me. We also have to talk about the other action figure in this 2-pack, of course, and it's Spinneret. I am decidedly less excited about this one, mostly because we're just seeing another reuse of the Shriek body from the Armadillo Wave. And boy, they are really getting a lot of mileage out of this body for the lady action figures of late. I really would have liked to have seen something different on this one and not just Shriek used all over again. Give her some new arms, some new legs, something, anything. Even if it was just the Shriek body again and they added some kind of sculptural element on the web design on her, that would have been cool too. I'm just really uncomfortable with the ladies getting the same body again and again and again, because it's like they only have one body at this point, it feels like. And if they're gonna keep recycling parts, I don't see why this is as expensive as it is. $56 for a 2-pack is pretty steep. That's over 2 times the standard price. And what it looks like to me when I look at what we're getting in this package, which is a couple of extra heads unmasked, and a couple of extra sets of hands for Spider-Man and Spinneret, it seems like we're getting a quote-unquote Spider-Man tax. I don't think this 2-pack is worth any more than $40, and if they're going to charge the price that they are charging, they need to include more, like webs and more heads and more hands, and throw something in there. Both of the Spinneret heads look really nice, masked and unmasked, and I'm glad she comes with the hands that she does, but does it justify the price? At the price this is being sold for, it's really obvious they're trying to get as much money out of Spider-Man fans as they can. For the people who missed the retro Spider-Man, this could be worth it, because retro Spider-Man is pretty expensive now, so you have to decide for yourself whether or not you're comfortable with that price. But if you've already got a retro Spider-Man, I'm not sure it's going to be worth your money for toe articulation and a Spinneret that's not all that great. Something that might deter you even more is the new Marvel Legends packaging, which has eliminated the plastic window, so now the figures are just inside a cardboard box, and you cannot look inside it without opening it up. So now what's staring you in the face, trying to entice you to buy it, is a Photoshop picture. This is a complete nightmare scenario for in-the-box collectors, because now they can't look at their figures through that window anymore. The window is everything, man. Now that we've seen Spider-Man and Spinneret, what other Spider-Man-based 2-packs would we love to see, soulmates? I'm gonna throw something of an obscure suggestion out there and say that I want to see Styx and Stone. These guys have never gotten a Marvel Legends, at least to my knowledge, and it would be good to see them represented as lesser-known villains in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. Well, soulmates, what do you think of this Spider-Man and Spinneret 2-pack? Is this one that you like? Is this one that you're gonna buy? Or are you a little underwhelmed by this, or maybe you feel that the price is a little too rich? Also, what Spider-Man characters would you love to see in a 2-pack next? Be sure you let me know in the comments, guys. I would love to hear from you. I'll be back again soon with some more thoughts about new comic book toy news. And until then, with love from me to you, bye-bye.